like that.
What the fuck is up, everybody? Welcome to the Fckry with Leslie Jones and Lenny Marcus. I'm Lenny Marcus.
And I'm Leslie Jones eating a ham sandwich.
And this is the podcast where the mission is to keep it 100 at all times. We talk about the fuckery going on in the world and in our lives while having a whole lot of fun doing it. In the studio today, we have an outspoken lawyer that Leslie is a fan of on TikTok named Luis Osorio Jimenez.
Yes!
And of course, the fuckery of the week. But first, I don't even believe I'm asking this question today. What the fuck is up? I know what's up. First of all, before anything, we are going on tour. And if you want to find out where those dates are, I'm going to list some of the places, but you can go to Leslie's Instagram, my Instagram, and you can look at in the bio. You can see the link. We're going to Richmond, Virginia, Atlantic City, Royal Oak, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Durham, Charleston, Boston, Red Bank, New Jersey. I think we got Nashville worked out in Indiana. Mm-hmm. It's March through like June, so come see us. Thank you.
We're going to have some fun, y'all. We're going to be on the road. We're going to be telling jokes. We're going to be acting silly. It's going to be great. I was thinking, too, that we probably should do like 5 minutes at the end together.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Do the podcast type shit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the tour.
That'll be fun.
And this is just the first part of it, people. Everybody keep hitting us like, are you going to come here? Are you going to come here? We will get to you.
We will get to you. It's just there's a theater backlog coming because there may be a writer's strike and a lot of comics are on tour and there's, don't worry. We'll get to you. We hear you. We see the comments. Yep. It's like, it's so funny. And then I was telling Leslie yesterday, it's like, when are you coming to Seattle? And I'm like, hey, we're coming to Seattle. It's like, oh man, I got a dead disappointment that day.
My God. If you would have came any other day, I would have been there, but I had to go, pick up some eggs for my sister.
Yeah, it's always some kind of weird excuse. I swear to God, the next time you guys come. Like,
when you coming back?
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so really the big story is today. We just finished a week of shooting The Daily Show, and I don't know if you guys caught it or not. I'm sure you did because you're fans of Leslie. I mean, maybe the great 3 best days of us working together. I
think like we did so many projects and I just feel like that's one of the things we're the most proud of.
I'm so proud of this last 3 days.
So I can't even believe.
I can't believe how.
I never like it. I never like it. I'm always towards the end. I'll be like, fuck these people, fuck this show, fuck this project. I don't give a shit about none of this. I don't want to advertise for it. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. Besides the podcast, because I love the podcast, but it's like I loved everything. There was only one thing that bothered me, and it was from me because I kept saying the Planned Parenthood, and I don't know why. And I think it was because of Robert Townsend's show back in the day.
He said the Planned Parenthood?
I think it was like the Parenthood or some shit like that, but I used to always, I just think it just kept coming out as the Planned Parenthood, but it's actually people Planned Parenthood. So,
but these people are.
That was it, though.
The hosts after Leslie have a lot of work to do because she absolutely murdered this. If you go to the press and see all these articles, Vanity Fair, Daily Beast, Guardian, whatever it is, you just lit up press.
Yo,
for this week.
And
it's
Stephen
crazy.
A. Smith.
He got you?
He shouted me out. Actually, my cousin hit me this morning. He was like, "Yo, Stephen A. Smith talked about you on the show," and I was like, "What his ass say?" And my cousin was like, "Nah, he said that you was funny as fuck and like one of his favorite comedians." I was like,
"Yeah, because he knows better. He's not gonna put his foot."
I would have tore that ass up if it said anything else.
For those of you who didn't hear that whole piece, Stephen A. Smith somehow backed his way into making fun of Rihanna.
You never make fun of Rihanna or Beyonce or Britney Spears. Like you just
they're coming for you.
They're gonna come for you.
And they came for him. So he's smart to not go, I love Leslie. She could shit on me all day because basically anything else would have been making it even worse. So finally he wised up.
Yeah,
but
I think the point that I really want Steven to get is that you don't have to put down somebody else to like somebody else. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You could have just easily said, "Oh, I hope Rihanna does great." You know what? Hey, and if Sherry would have been like, "Well, what was your favorite Super Bowl performance?" That's when you could have been like, "Oh, Beyonce tore it up." Woo, 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 woo. But for you to shit on somebody else to make somebody else, and the fact that he doesn't get that that's what the language, because you said the same thing. This is not a fucking sports show. You're not saying, "Oh, Kobe will never be, LeBron will never be Kobe," or woo, woo, woo. It's a whole different atmosphere. Learn to read the fucking room.
Yeah, and a room full of women,
Black women
who love them both. You can't just say one.
That's like putting like I can't even think of two warriors that you putting together and you're like, no, everybody loves them both. Like, I hope that Rihanna performs at the Super Bowl and then brings Beyonce out and they both have "fuck Steven Smith" on their shirt.
That would be amazing. But the Daily Show.
Yeah.
Getting back to the Daily Show. I mean, from the second you walk in, Jen Flan's the the showrunner. She runs a tight ship.
She's like the dream showrunner, dude. Like
she knows what she wants.
She knows what she wants.
She can get it all done.
And she's nice as fuck about it. Like it's like I'm not even fake nice, just like normal. Like you know how a person just like how we are, Judith. Like just like you. She didn't have to put you down or yell at you to get you to do something. Like she goes, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Woo, 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 woo. And then too, she was also like, oh, if I would have said, well, you know what, Jen, I really like that, she would have been okay. We'll make it work. And then woo, 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 with this, and she was just really fucking sharp.
Yeah, and everybody else is sharp there. I can't believe, they're sharp, they're funny, they know how to get their show done, and they're really good writers on top of it. And
the writers are so good.
And then they have like 6 producer-writer kind of people that write the show, and then if they need help on anything, they just write a note to go to all 23 writers, then they come back in like 20 minutes with like 15 jokes.
It's like living in a Willy Wonka of comedy.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a factory of things that you go, oh my God, is this where, like, this is how it is? If like the one thing that I would have to say is that biggest compliment, and it came from Brian, and Brian, Brian don't like shit. So Brian was like, I like a place where everybody does their job.
Yeah, and
nobody was trying to do anybody else's job. Everybody was perfecting their job. Like the security was security. It was just like from the top to the bottom, everybody was just in full support.
They have like a full testing facility in there to test you for COVID when you walk in. They do their thing. Then you go past security who's doing their thing. And if we had to do man on the street, security was there, ready,
security, when I was doing that man on the street, them motherfuckers was tight. And I had a sister security, which I was like, that's so fucking cool.
We had a the field director is amazing.
Yeah.
The field producer is amazing.
The sketch,
they have stuff written for you to ask.
The sketch directors were amazing, and then the director of the show. That motherfucker. And he's young. He's young. And see, and this is what I say about this business. I have respect for everybody who work in this business. But I feel like when you get to like at SNL, I did love that they had veterans there and people who know how to do it. But there were some people there like Methuselah. Like, and they're not going to think the same way. Like their lighting guy, great fucking lighting guy, very like definitely knew how to when I could say to him, I could be like, yo, make sure that the light is on me. I am darker than everybody else. I don't want them just seeing my teeth. And he would respond to it. But on the other side, he would say some of the racist shit because he's like 97. You know what I'm saying? He was alive when the Pilgrims came across, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that dynamic of that. And what I liked about Daily Show is that the people that were there were progressive and smart. Like very smart. Like every time we go to a project and work with people, we always have to explain their job to them and their world renowned. You'd be like, you're not world renowned, motherfucker. And then too, we always get that shitty attitude of like, oh well, they don't know. They're just new and they're just coming in and they don't understand it. And we be like, no, motherfucker, we do understand. That's the problem. We do understand is that you're making us think, oh yeah, we're doing our job. You're giving us a reason to like what how you making it seem like I'm supposed
it's our
to.
problem. Like,
It's this is our it's just justifying why the fuck you getting paid what the fuck you getting paid.
The director was David Paul Meyer. They call him DPM, and this guy's incredible.
He was incredible.
Very nice. Everybody's so nice.
That's what I liked. Everybody, and you know what I really realized everybody was so nice is because they were doing the job they wanted to do.
I think so.
I'm telling you, from the floor guy, from the warm-up guy, everybody was doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah. They're all just the bottom line. Like, we're a team. We're making this great show. We want it to be a great show. And we told them we want it to be a great show on the way in, and they did it.
And it all helps, too, when it's like, we come in and we're good. So they're like, y'all was a dream to work with.
Yeah, it was pretty much a love fest for 3 days there. And,
it really was.
And we... you want to go back?
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man.
Because people ask that.
I said I would never, ever move back to New York because not fuck New York, but New York be killing me. Like, it's killing me. Like, the weather kills me. My sinuses are the worst out here. I don't seem like I relax as much as I do in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
But I would come and do this show because that shit was fucking fun. That shit was like satisfying. If that's the
it is too. What I thought is we didn't have to worry about all the other stuff. We could just be creative.
Yeah,
we could walk
that's
in
what
and
it
we
was.
Just did all the creativity.
It's just all we had to do was come in and write the show. Usually we have to be part of production. We have to be part of this, because we have to this. And it was none of that. We would say, even if something was wrong, we would be like, nah, it should be that. Bam. It's like 3 seconds. Like, It's just so...
bouncing ideas with these guys and then all coming to a consensus. Yes, that's the one. And then it's going to be good.
I'm telling you right now, when I was sitting in that room with all them writers, it was like a dream. It was like a movie that I've always wanted to be in. Like, you know how you see those people sitting at the table and they're around you and they're laughing and we're fucking... That's what that shit was. And I was like, yes, this is yum, 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 yum. So yeah, I if they offered it to me, I would do it.
There you go. They have, that place is so amazing. You're upstairs writing the show, and then you go downstairs. They have the full studio, and they also have like a social guy, and that's his job, social media. And he's amazing. They have the podcast people if they want to do it. They're amazing. They have the person with the guests,
the BTS dude, the dude that does the background shooting. He was amazing.
Yeah.
The photographer who was a brother.
He's everywhere. He's just like on staff.
He was like a ninja with that camera. You see him. He was great.
Everything's in-house. It's like this own little world. You're right. It's like a Willy Wonka factory of great comedy. And
as you can see, we had a great fucking time.
When you meet them, they have, on Zoom, the initial meeting on Zoom, they have all these Emmys behind them, and now you know why.
Yeah, because I saw all these Emmys, and I was like, oh, Lord, I hope we're not dealing with like...
We've seen people with Emmys behind them. It's
like we went in there, like when we went into Ellen, I mean, nice people, but whatever. They was just kind of pretentious and a little bit like, we're
Ellen. Yeah.
But Jen and them was just like...
They're also, look,
like,
it's also, let me say this.
Make me mold for the show mold around me.
Yeah, but also this format is right for you. Like, Ellen, there's nothing matter with that. It's just, it's a daytime talk show. It's fluffy.
It's fluffy.
And you don't get to be you.
I'm not fluff at all.
You can't say,
I got to say pussy. I got to say pussy 4 times in a row.
And they were laughing.
TV.
Nobody's like, oh my God.
And I'm like sitting there going, holy shit, have I landed in heaven? Because see, I'm going to have a show in heaven. just like that.
And it's live to tape, so, you make a mistake, you do it again.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I loved is like, if I messed up, like I can be like, let's do that again, please. And I like that.
And they could cover it because they're the great.
And they just really good at editing that. I know we can gush and gush and gush.
But it was impressive.
It was fucking fun, man.
It was impressive.
And I've just, if anybody's listening that I interviewed on there, y'all were fucking sensational.
Since Charlemagne the God was incredible.
Charlemagne, like, I'm not gonna lie, total fan now. Total fan of Charlemagne.
I don't know how you couldn't be after watching that.
He came on and was vulnerable and helpful and great. Like, I was like, you with Morris Chestnut? Awesome.
Sweet.
Alexis from Planned Parenthood.
Fantastic.
I mean, these people it was almost like such a dream. Like they walked through the perfect interview, like shield or something, and it covered them because they were all perfect interviews. So, yeah, I had a good time.
It was pretty good.
Time.
Thank you, Daily Show is really the bottom line of that.
Daily Show. Zubin, oh my God. Yeah. You are so...
The head writers and...
Dan, oh my God.
Great. All
so
the
good.
Dans.
Daniel, right?
They're all Daniel. They're all Daniel.
Yeah, I was just going to say how
There's
many
like 3 Daniels and 2 Davids.
Oh my God.
One Zubin,
Daniel, I hope he's listening. So I was like, Daniel, I've forgotten about you, okay? I've forgotten about you.
Did you have one favorite moment?
Oh, that would be hard. I think that would be hard, but I have to say, there were so many, but I have to say, turning into the camera and going to Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
They here for you.
The condoms are here for you.
Hope that one and the Stephen A. Smith one was fun.
That's fun.
I liked all of them, I'll be honest.
I mean, the whole thing was great. I loved all the chats, like when they were all of them. They just got better.
Oh my God, Desi. Oh, Costa. Okay, Costa was so. When it was like, be a man and fuck 10 bitches. Oh. And
So
he's
funny.
happy. He's just been posting. He's like so happy now, and I'm happy. He's happy because it's like the thing that I love to do. Like, for example, when Mel Gibson got in trouble, right? Mel Gibson got in trouble for doing. But when when everybody was doing all these jokes, but the jokes that I like to come out is the ones that make that person vulnerable.
Right.
Let's go behind all of that. Because the joke that I would crack is use a dirty ass bitch for recording somebody when you just broke up with them. Right. Because if you got any of my recordings after you broke up with me, you would think I was a psycho ass bitch too. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I like, like when they came on, it was like, oh, well, everybody already think Costa's a piece of shit. Like that's the character he does. Right. And I was like, no, but why is he a piece of shit?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's fuck with that.
But he ends up being the hero in this one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what. So it's like that he wasn't shit. My friend was shit. Yeah. That was my favorite thing. I think that might have been one of my favorite things.
And I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but that's what I wanted for that character.
That's what I wanted.
Oh, well, you molded it.
That's what I wanted. Pat yourself on the back. Fuck your back, bitch. No, because you remember I told you I wanted opposite Colin Jost.
Well, I also wanted like a relationship between those people, not just you coming in and going, tell me about the thing.
Then we wanted the same thing, fucker.
Yeah.
Say that.
Fine.
Say that
we wanted the same thing.
But because we did, though, because they were
we did. They were trying to
I'm
not saying you wanted something different.
No, but they was trying to build something that was like going to be so difficult. And I was like, the joke is right there. Like, it's right there. So
for Leslie, the joke is right there. For somebody else, they're going to have to figure out what their relationship is. But you laid it for me, I was like, not only was that great with Costa and Desi and whatever, but now the relationship with Costa. So every time it will turn into something so twisted.
That's what I'm saying. You saying what I was already saying. Because that's what I said too. Because in my head, when we're doing it, I was like, yeah. And the next time I come back, now it's just going to be just as bad and about the same girl. It's just like
either the same girl or some other craziness.
I like the same girl because now she's going to start backstalking him.
Yeah,
she's out now. And then it could be something like, did you give her my address, Leslie?
Just gets worse.
It's just so
but
fun.
also the stories about eggs, and somehow We did talk about the eggs.
We did kind of talk
so
about the
funny.
eggs. No, my favorite joke out of that was when I went,
Go ahead.
"You so fucking corny, Costa." And that was...
Do you remember the line you said, like, oh, you love eating eggs? That was a great line. One of the writers wrote.
When I said, I got to say, "Oh, God, how I love to eat what comes out there chicken pussies early in the morning." Let me explain something. You can't even understand the satisfaction that went through me when I was getting... I could not... And I don't even think I performed it right because I was so into getting to say chicken pussies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Who wrote that? Was that the R.O.?
No, that was Zach. I think it was a writer named Zach.
Did you get to talk to him and tell him how much I loved that joke?
I didn't get to talk to him, but I did reach out. I did talk to R.O. and told him he had a great week. He's like, that made my weekend before he walked out the door. So I didn't get to see Zach, but Zach, thank you for that joke.
Zach.
And if that was you, and if that was you, whoever
Zach,
it was, fantastic job down there.
Oh my God, you made me so happy.
Made the whole room die laughing. We're like,
God.
that is in.
We were dying. What else did we, when we were writing, I kept jumping up laughing at?
A lot of those bits, they had some great concepts of bits that came from downstairs, and we embellished them. Just started laughing, or they came in great.
Who did the hairline?
I think that's Randall. Yeah, I believe his name is
R.O.
Yes.
There was this writer R.O. and every time we saw his name, we would read his shit because he was fucking.
He's a good stand-up too.
But Zubin, that motherfucker.
Their head writer, Zubin.
Zubin is a speed reader.
Yeah.
So he's reading everything.
All the jokes.
He's reading everything before we even get to it. So we're like, the fuck?
The guy's amazing.
Oh my God, how long have we been talking about the Daily Show?
I know, right?
Like 20 minutes.
Whatever.
Jesus. I'm
All right,
so
let's
sorry,
get to
you
our
guys.
guest.
I know they're
it was a great
hey
time.
guys, we've been with you for fucking 3 days. Fuck those guys.
The point of that
love
was
you too,
that these guys are
Judith and
amazing,
Jordan
and we do like it.
And be back, bitch.
And we'll be back, bitches, right after this mess. Welcome back to the show. And now it's time for Who the Fuck Is This?
Who the fuck is this?
Where we welcome and interview special guests on the show in studio today with me and Leslie, all in New York. This is great. We have a TikTok political content creator, commentator, and proud Puerto Rican. Wow.
Yes.
Hola.
Yes.
He's a licensed attorney with experience in renewable energy affairs for the government of Puerto Rico, public policy, and labor administration and organizing. Well, that's a smart man. Follow him at Luis Osorio 787, LuisItorio 787.
Yes.
Okay. Where you can find him breaking down white supremacy, debating political trolls, and educating his followers about the injustices we currently face in this society. Please welcome Luis Osorio Jimenez to the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Man, that's an intro.
That's a good intro.
And it's so funny because I was like, I love all of his TikToks. Because I like smart TikToks. That's what I like. And then I like people who take on people who think they're smart and then make them look stupid. That's my favorite thing.
Well, you're also my
I'm
first
not good at that.
That seems like my
but where's my I meant to say my the drink that you
The
make?
coquito. I was gonna bring you some, but I couldn't get a carry on.
So I was like,
I swear I'm gonna
wait. That's what you drink on the TikTok?
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's like a drink that we make in Puerto Rico, made out of rum.
I was like, I want my conquito.
I'll get you some. I'll send you some by mail. I promise you.
Well, Leslie follows you, and she insisted having you on the show.
Thank you.
So, first of all, you're embracing TikTok. You're not a 15-year-old, and why TikTok? And why do you feel that you wanted to do this as a medium?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out. I just kind of got bored one day, and I was sitting at a hotel room in Seattle like a year ago. And I don't know, man. I just had some things to say about Puerto Rico and our island and things that are affecting us and racism. these thoughts were always in my head, but I never thought that a lot of people would resonate with it and want to hear it. And apparently it did. And it started like at 2,000 people, and then it grew to like 30,000.
Was it a lot? Is your fan base in Puerto Rico or all over the United States?
It's a little bit everywhere. Most of the people, because I speak English as well, I managed to reach more people. So I have people definitely in Puerto Rico, but I have a large following in the United States. And even like I've heard people in Australia and Ireland. I'm like, this is so strange. You know, they resonate with the topic. So.
Where do you live?
I actually live in Denver, Colorado. I moved. Yeah.
Wow.
Listen,
that's not where I thought you. I thought you lived in Florida or somewhere. I thought you lived in Florida.
I definitely don't want to live in the devil's waiting room. That place is different. I leave the Santas to the people that want to deal with him. No, it's funny, my story, because I lived in Puerto Rico for 36 years. I was born and bred there. But at one point, the economy got really bad. And I was like, all right, man, I got to pick a place in the United States, but I really don't want to go to Florida. Yeah. There was too many Puerto Ricans there. I didn't want to, I wanted to really do something different. And I didn't want to go to New York. It's the same thing. I was like, I just started throwing darts at a map, and one landed in Oregon. And I was like, that's too far. Another one landed in Maine. I was like, that's too fucking cold. And the third one landed in Denver. I was like, all right, let's see what happens.
You know what's so crazy? Because I started watching your page because I'm sorry, I have to say, because you know I'm a dumbass. But I didn't know Puerto Rico was part of the United States. Yeah. First of all, I actually
officially it's a territory of the United States.
Officially, it's a Commonwealth of the United States of America, which is a very nice white way of saying it's a territory and a colony, right?
So that's bad.
No
right?
offense, Lenny. When I say white,
that's a little much.
Right, yeah, but I don't.
A colony. You've been there for 125.
But let him explain that though. Why you say colony? Because I want to know why you think that. Because my thing is that I see that we don't take care of Puerto Rico.
Well, because the problem is that people don't realize that we were basically the United States won Puerto Rico as a prize from a war, the Spanish-American War from Spain. And they really didn't know what to do with us, right? So they were like, well, we kind of like the area. We want to have our bases there. We want to have some connection to the Caribbean, but we don't want to give them all the rights. So the governor of Puerto Rico at that time in 1952, Luis Muñoz Marín, developed this idea of the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. And he said, well, give us the U.S. citizenship, let us have our own constitution, our own laws, but we'll remain part of the United States. And the U.S. says, great, well, if I can get the cow and get the milk and I don't have to buy it, sounds good to me.
Well, do you want it? So I always ask, do you want to be a state?
So that's always been a topic of controversy in the island. We managed to do 8 or 9 referendums, and almost every single time the current Commonwealth wins because people kind of want to have that state of staying the same. No, okay. Well, it basically stayed the same. We do not have the independence. But now, recently, they made one, and statehood was favored amongst Puerto Ricans. It was 62%.
So when they have that attitude, and then Trump comes along and goes, we'd like to trade you straight up for Greenland, you go what the fuck?
I would have taken that trade, but that's just me. But yeah, we've always had this situation where, like you say, right? We're a part of the United States, but we're treated as second-class citizens. And that has always been a problem because when it comes to aid, additional help, or just having all the rights that normal U.S. citizens have, we do not.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a stupid question.
No, there's no stupid questions. This is the time.
It feels like we sent a lot of aid to Puerto Rico, especially with hurricane season. The shit's gone down a lot of times now. I'm not saying Trump throwing toilet paper rolls at people or whatever it was great, but do we help out enough to Puerto Rico? I mean,
listen, you do help out. The problem was specifically to Maria. I went through Hurricane Hugo, which was when I was a kid, when I was 15, and it was very difficult. But then Hurricane Maria proved that the aid wasn't getting there on time. And time is of the essence when you have a situation where people are losing their lives.
I mean, we did that with Katrina, if you think about it.
We have an idiot in office. That's what happens.
Yeah. Katrina is the prime example. But then, when you ask Donald Trump, well, what happened? Well, you're surrounded by water. I'm like, dude,
What? Is that what he said?
It's hard to get there. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a fucking idiot.
Big water.
No.
Lots of water. I'm like, bro, you have aircraft carriers in the middle of the freaking Baltic Sea.
How much do we pay for military and stuff like that?
You can't get help.
What the fuck?
It's a 4-hour plane ride.
You know how long it takes my cruise ship to get there from Florida?
No, it's wild. It's wild. It's annoying.
So
but, now we had a recent project, the Puerto Rico Self-Determination Act, which won in the House, but went to the Senate and got hung by the Republicans. They all voted against it. Obviously, because Puerto Rico has ties to the Democratic Party, it will probably vote liberal, and they know
exactly.
it. And they're like, the hell with that. We don't want this, because we were going to vote for statehood, but they're like, nah, we don't want that shit.
That's right.
Yeah. Fucking annoying.
It's horrific because we don't have a right to self-determine. And it's wild when you think about it. My dad served in the military. He went to Vietnam. But he couldn't vote for the president because Puerto Ricans that live in the island.
That don't make sense
Makes
to
no
me.
sense.
We're one of the few places where the people that are U.S. citizens cannot choose their commander-in-chief, but they're sent to war.
But that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
How much sense does that make?
sense.
But this is the thing that I don't understand. When stuff is obvious like that, why can't we fix it as why are we not fixing it? I mean, I understand why the Republicans ain't, because they don't get to, they get to not do their job like they love to do.
Yeah.
But why it's so obvious why we don't fucking do anything?
Yeah. If I were to take a wild guess, it would be that the United States of America, the government of the United States of America, has bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
They really don't give a shit about us. And excuse me, can I curse?
Yeah,
sure.
of course. Are you kidding? You know who the lady is next to you?
I curse a lot. I just gotta ask. They don't really give a shit. They can have us in that state and it doesn't affect them. They don't have to give us more than they do. It's kind of, I make the analogy of having like a rabbit just standing there waiting for the magic trick. We don't really do much. We have our own shit going on, but they're like, you're good. Stay like that. You don't need more. And they manage to trick people.
But you do need more. Let me ask you something about the infrastructure. With global warming getting worse and worse, you guys are going to keep taking this in the face.
Yeah.
And you need to build all the infrastructure of Puerto Rico was built so long ago. It's overground. Needs to be, apparently it needs to be underground like we have in New York. All the electricity is underground. So if something goes down, they can put the grid back up quick. You guys, it wipes out. You have to literally build the poles back up. Why don't at least ask for one thing and keep the island running?
I'm shocked that Lenny knows all this stuff.
I
might
know
bring him to Puerto Rico with me and he can run with me.
He's a fucking nerd.
He's done his homework.
He's a fucking nerd.
I go to Puerto Rico.
He knows everything. He knows everything.
Lenny knows what's up. No, you're exactly right. I work with the power grid in Puerto Rico when I work for the Energy Affairs Administration. And our main problem is the grid. The grid is antiquated. It's a vertical system. It's horrific. You'll talk to any engineer and they hate it because you can't shut down parts of it. It's like one gigantic switch and you flip that thing and then everything is out for whack.
Well, you need a plan.
We need an entire new grid that has to be underground because the problem is that we rebuild something and then it's just going to go down again.
Right.
It's like dumb. We're not.
Yeah,
but they'd rather put the Band-Aid every single time.
And that's what I don't understand is like if you get this grid, will it shut down the city for a little while you build it?
Yeah, but we've been shut down for 6 months.
I was just going to say it's not like something you're not used to anyway. And if
you told Puerto Ricans, hey, we're going to shut you down for 6 months until we build this, people will be like, I can go right ahead and do it.
That is just so frustrating.
But they don't want to send the money. It costs billions.
But do you guys have to pay taxes too?
Well, that's the other misconception. A lot of people think, well, you guys pay no federal tax. Well, yes, we do. The problem is that the taxes that we pay are excise taxes, are estate taxes. They're different type of taxes. The only one that we don't pay is sales tax. Like when you buy a pack of gum, you don't pay federal tax on that pack of gum. Right. But we pay federal taxes on a ton of other shit, and people don't realize that.
See, but that's again, I say this all the time. We are the people. We are paying taxes into a system that's supposed to be taking care of us. It's like I'm giving it's basically what we're doing is taking our money and giving it to these people and going, here you go, do what you have to do. Instead of being responsible enough and going, what the fuck are you going to do with my money?
Well, that's the thing. We don't, when you pay taxes, we don't, that's why it's important to pick the right politician in some ways, because their cause, if we would just, our military budget, if you look at it, is so, we can blow up the world with one button, okay? And you want to keep a military budget. I get it. But if we drop the military budget like $10 billion this year, this particular year, we could take that money, just fix Puerto Rico's grid, and everybody, you know what? Nobody would miss that $10 billion. We just wouldn't.
Greedy motherfuckers would.
That's right.
And that's what's so
and that's
fucking
the problem.
disgusting.
We don't know where we're putting that money.
And it's just like, what money? It's like, you know what it feels like to me? It's like it's like when you go to a fast food restaurant and you go, "Can I have extra ketchup?" And they be like, "Why you want extra ketchup? Bitch, that's not your ketchup.
Yep.
Just give me the fucking ketchup.
Just give me the
Is this your fucking ketchup? Like, is this, like, you know what I'm saying?" So that's what it feels like to me. Like, it's not your money.
Yeah.
It's our money.
But just so you know, and I know, because I've heard you like say, I've heard some, gringos comments coming out of your TikTok.
Yeah.
We have it here in New York.
That's not you, though. That's not
I know.
you.
We have it here in New York. That's what she says to me all the time. I hate white people, but not you.
I don't count him as white.
But like the infrastructure here, they need to redo the subway. We have the same infrastructure problem here with the subway. They haven't fixed this system in 100 years. Yeah. And we can't do it here. So if you think you're getting in Puerto Rico, good luck.
It's wild.
Me, myself, I'm going to get crushed, but y'all need to get rid of the fucking subways. Y'all are island. When y'all get overturned with water, all y'all going to die underground in the fucking subway.
How are you going to get around New York City? God, you're dumb. Listen, I mean, it's you want to be like LA. Everybody's sitting in their car, can't move an inch.
Fucking subway.
If there wasn't earthquakes, you would have a subway in LA. In fact, you do have a subway in certain parts with a rock and roll. Jesus, I can't believe there you go. I'm gonna kill myself.
He love his precious transportation in New York. This motherfucker will get on the bus in a minute. It's not a problem.
It seems to work.
I hate him for that.
I can go anywhere in 10 seconds.
Right.
Oh my God.
You want to take a donkey? Go ahead. Welcome.
Fuck you. Okay, so now let's talk about the Trumpers because this is my favorite thing.
Yeah. They fucking hate me.
I would guess.
Because you roast them so much. Yep. And then, like, what is the thing that you end your video with? Because I want to learn this so much. Yeah. I think you said you did this.
Que tenga buen día.
Okay. Wait, how you say it?
Que tenga buen día.
Oh my God, that's my favorite thing.
What does that mean?
How do you say it?
It means have a nice day.
How do you say it again?
Que tenga buen día.
Que tenga buen día.
I do it right out.
Oh my God, it's so funny because sometimes he's laughing so hard and then he stops and goes,
okay.
Oh my God.
Here's my big question. That drives me absolutely insane.
Yes.
The Latino vote for Trump, it goes up and up and up, especially Cubans who have seen a fascist government come here.
Break it down.
This is help me understand this.
Break
Why?
it down.
Well, because can I talk honest?
That's what we're here.
All right.
Say it.
The show's called The Fckry.
I don't know if I'm gonna get out of New York City alive. We'll see.
Well, it's recorded. You can get out. I
just gotta run. I can get out today. You're right.
You got about 3 weeks.
Listen, your friend Ida, the comedian, said
I love her.
She's amazing, and it's true. We have white people among us too, and a lot of those white Puerto Ricans that I don't consider them white, Cubans, and because if you have a portion of you that is from an ethnic African background, you're a person of color. Right. But a lot of them think, well, I have proximity to whiteness, and they've been taught by that caste system. Well, the closer you are to whiteness, the better off you are. You know, you have good success. You don't want to hang out with these people. You want to be like this. What? And it's horrible.
It's in every race, Lenny. It's in every race. Lenny, you know, black people have this passing thing. You know that there's black people who look like white people. This is the thing that I didn't know is that it was in every race. I did not know. It's an Asian race. It's an Indian race. So, because somebody was saying this to me because I was going the fuck off about white women voting for Trump. I was like, this is bullshit. Every white woman I talk to don't fucking like Trump. What the fuck? And someone said to me, hey, you don't know what part of that percentage is people who identify as white.
Absolutely.
And I was like, fuck. That fucked me up.
Yeah, and they don't like it. And the problem is, right, they don't like it when you tell them. Right? That's why I'm so like, they hate me because it's like, oh, you're talking out of your ass. I'm like, no, I'm not, because the only explanation that will make you subscribe to a party that is supported by white supremacist views is if it doesn't affect you. That's why I said it. If you're a Latino and you voted for Trump, you have internalized racism, which is the worst.
Same thing with black
because
people.
If you're white and you're racist, I can get it because you're white. But if you're like a person of color, Latino, and are racist and have internalized racism, you are voting against your own demise.
I'm telling you,
it's wild.
that's why I really you levitated to you because it's the same thing with black people. It's like
the same thing.
Oxymoron is a black Republican.
It's idiotic.
Understand.
It's
that.
idiotic. That is
wild. Why would you do that?
I think I'm trying to remember what year this was, and my friend came out from St. Louis to visit me, and I never knew this about her. We were great friends, and I took her over one of my friends' house. We were swimming or whatever, and started talking about politics. And she was like, "Oh no, I'm a Republican." And when I say everybody in the room was like, "What, bitch? How the fuck are you a Republican?" And then she started. I was just like, that made me go, "You're a fucking crazy person." I never talked to her again because I just like, you're crazy.
You have to be crazy because you're subscribed. It's like Roaches for Raid. You're subscribing.
Roaches for Raid.
It is
exactly.
Yeah, I think it was John Leguizamo. I don't want to steal his bit, but it's true. He's Roaches for Raid. You're voting against something that is against your interests, right? I had this story. I don't know if I can tell it. It's quick.
Tell
It's a quick story. I had a Mexican dude one time get into it with another Trump supporter, right? And the Trump supporter told him on my TikTok, "Well, you people need to go back to where you came from," and blah, blah, blah. And I went after the guy, the Trump supporter, because he was Puerto Rican. And I'm like, "Look, we don't treat people like that. You are treating a person who's coming here, who wants to work hard, who's an immigrant, and you're giving him shit over some paper, you know?" And then they finally had a live, and then they met up. And then later, I told the guy, the Mexican, I was like, "Well, these things happen, but this is the fault of Trump." And he's like, no, Trump. I think Trump is okay." And then I later found out that he voted for Trump. And I'm like, dude, I am defending you against a Trumper, but you're a Trumper. It was like a fucking episode of Black Mirror. I'm like, this is...
I'm telling you, this is what I'm telling you. And again, sometimes I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone because I see the obviousness and then I go, are we in a bad 80s movie or something?
It's horrible.
Because and I even told Lauren this, and Lauren was like, "Yeah, and that's pretty true." Trump won because, first of all, he is a white, heterosexual, aggressive man.
Oh, yeah.
And he mastered Communications 101. Oh, yeah. The first thing you're taught in communications is to back up what you say. So how he backs up what he says is that he keeps repeating himself. "Oh, I'm huge. It's really huge. Oh, it's a really great deal. This deal here is really great." Now, to people who are not, people who watch TV, like you see it. We watch TV. I could tell you right now, you could go to about 5-6 people and they'll know the same jingle to a commercial because that's how it's built. So you doing this, you're using your hands, you're talking straight, you're doing this, and then I even use it. The passion inside of me behind the words that I say, you'll believe me. Yeah. So, and that's what he did. He mastered Communications 101.
Yeah, but I don't think, here's the difference. You can go to a class and learn how to master Communications 101. I just think he got lucky with that's the way he is.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He still was able to,
because he doesn't believe his own bullshit. I would think. I
think that he actually, on a level, does.
No, I'm saying I totally agree that he does, but I mean, I don't think he would be like, "I should use my hands more." I just do that. I think he's inherently an idiot, so that's how it comes out.
But you also, I'm not saying that he was smart enough to know that that's what he did, but that's what I'm saying. That's what that is.
But I'm sorry to interrupt you. No, you also have to address the element of a cult. Right? Yeah. Like if you look at the steps of a cult and how you indoctrinate people into a cult, it is really, truly classic cult behavior, right?
Absolutely.
You got a group of people who feel like they're not being represented, which is racist, white males, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Man, I don't have anybody to," and then this guy comes in and you're like, "Ooh, that resonates."
That guy speaks for me.
That guy, and he's different than these people, right?
Yeah.
I was already lost.
He's a millionaire.
And he's a businessman. I like this. And then they bring you in. And then what happens? Then you get the peer pressure, right? Well, if you don't support that, you are not an American.
Right.
That is being anti-American if you're against Trump. And people are like, "Well, shit, I guess I don't want to be anti-American and I'm white and there's an attack on white people. Shit, well, I need to get in there, And it's a creation of probably what is arguably the largest cult in the history of the United States of America. There's millions of people that subscribe to this.
Well, yeah, bullshit. I mean, there's a famous line from this cult thing I watched, which I love. The guy was like, you don't know sometimes you're in the cult.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't know I'm in, it takes a long time for you to wake up and go, "I'm in a cult."
Again, like when all of this started, I was at SNL. I never thought of Trump other than The Apprentice.
Yeah.
And just some goofy guy.
Yeah, he's a goofball.
And enjoyed The Apprentice. I was like, why does everybody hate Trump so much? I mean, like, he's just a fucking clown. I literally, was like, even when they was like, he's going to run for president,
It was
this actually came out of my mouth. And I remember saying it, and I remember going, oh, wow, you really was naive then. I was like, shit, he's on The Apprentice. The motherfucker knows how to do the business shit.
Yeah.
What if he's like that movie Dave? And you know what I'm saying? And he bring his homeboy in and fixes the fucking deficit. Because especially when he kept saying, I'm going to make America, because at the time I didn't know Trump was a racist.
Right.
I'm going to make America great again. The first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, this guy is going to bring the farms back. This guy is going to fucking fix Detroit. He's going to bring the factories back. I literally was like, I think I might vote for this dude because he's going to bring all the fucking shit that's overseas back to America. It's going to be made in USA.
Right.
That's what he's talking about, making America great again. Right. And I remember talking to two producers, and I was like, this is a great idea. This guy is going to fucking make America fucking strong again like we were.
It's a great
slogan. They were sitting there looking at me going, no less.
That's how it's going to happen.
Less. That's not what's happening.
It's not what you think it is.
But now, if I thought that, imagine
how people. Of course, that was half the country, really, and more than half the country at some points. But what the thing about that is the people in New York who have dealt with him forever. I was like, this is never going to happen. People are going to see right through that he's a complete moron. We know he's a moron for years.
Yeah.
And guess what? I was 100% wrong. They didn't see shit. I had smart people come in from Texas, and they'd be like, oh, man, you guys must love that Trump's the president. I stopped walking with this guy. I go, wait a second, you voted for, I go, he's the biggest fucking idiot, and everybody here knows it. It's a joke. It's a running joke here. He lost New York 90 to 10.
He knew.
And he's this
everybody
guy's
in New York. Everybody in New York. Well, I remember living in New York, and when Bush got voted in, I remember not voting that year because I thought it was so ridiculous that they was going to, there's no way Gore's going to lose to this fucking idiot. There's no way. And when I was like, oh, I never not vote again.
Yeah.
That was the day for me.
I agree with you.
Oh, yeah.
That was the day for me. And I was like, oh, don't ever just take for granted that motherfuckers are smart out there. You know what I mean? So, because when Trump won, I really was like, oh, wow. Oh, wow, that happened. That fucking happened.
This happened. We elected a complete booth.
Yeah.
And we might, and listen, and
could happen again.
And I hate saying it, but we might do it again.
It's going to happen again.
It's terrifying.
Let me ask you a question about, is Ron DeSantis Latino in any way?
Supposedly he has like Italian background.
That's it.
Yeah,
because
he's just as bad.
He's just as bad.
And now he eliminated the African studies thing for 18 courses.
That's another question. How are they able to do that? I don't understand how they're like the shipping immigrants to other places. How they're spending millions. How are they allowed to? I don't understand.
Because for better or for worse, we're a constitutional republic, right? And each state has their own rights, and they have their own education board. So they can say, well, education board for the federal government, bring me something that is more attuned with what we need, because right now it doesn't hold any educational value, were his words. And I'm like, bro, you got like a lot of African heritage like that is present. It's not going to go away.
Right.
You need to like educate your people, especially white kids, on that, the importance of that African heritage. And you're saying with the mouth that you eat, like we say in Puerto Rico, that it has no educational value. You're insane. This is based on racism. But he also has friends that are white supremacists. He was...
Yeah, but that's oh my God.
It's wild.
But here's the thing, again, with being in Florida specifically, the Latino population is getting bigger and bigger in Florida. And again, this should be obvious to them that at some point, not only is it going to be African-American studies, it'll be Latino studies, and then they're voting against their own interest. And it shouldn't be any clearer than in Florida. But the Latino community keeps that. You're telling me that mentality of being close to white people while they're going to be eating dog food, you know what I mean? While they're being more ostracized is going to outweigh what's going. If the Latino people want to vote DeSantis out,
the Republican Party has done a fantastic job into selling the Latino community on communism and the feel of socialism.
That's another thing.
You know, they're like, because we have a lot of people that are from Venezuela, from Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico even. And they're like, well, you don't want to go back to that. that the Democrats
And
are
they
going to
don't
take you to
know.
that. And they
See,
fucking believe
oh
it.
my God.
Because they're dumb. You know,
The Democrats is the reason that they're able to come here and do all of this.
Exactly.
You know what?
It's the exact opposite. It's the Republicans that are going to do it to them.
Yeah.
It makes me.
But Joe is deporting them now, so I was like, okay, now you're gonna get a taste of your own fucking medicine. Because they were like, well, Joe is now deporting Cubans, and I'm like, well, you were talking shit about all the other Latinos, and now they come in here legally. Now you're gonna suck on that. You're gonna learn what other people go through. But again, this is your own demise. You are the one supporting this stuff,
right?
And then you have to understand who's working for you and who's not. But they pump that fear. You're gonna go back to socialism. You're gonna go back to communism. You're gonna be screwed if you vote for the Democrats.
So how do you change that?
You change it with what I do, which is education and making them understand, hey, listen, what we are promoting here is wildly different than what you had in another country. We want socialism, but we want it in the form of democratic socialism, which you already have. You have the fucking Social Security Administration. That is a form of socialism.
Correct.
It's a bunch of people putting money on a pot, and then some people get it and some people don't, and you have no fucking say on it. That is classic socialism. Same thing with Medicare. Same thing with fucking. We have the police, the fucking firemen.
Exactly.
When your house is on fire, you call a private company? No, you call a form of socialist thing called the fire department, which everybody chips in, and you fucking get your fire put out.
Why doesn't that? I know other than you and comedians pumping out that. Why don't the politicians pump that out? It's the obvious truth.
Because they make money. And what this is what I have. What's so astonishing to me, I'm 55 years old, and what's so astonishing to me is we're going through this right now. Oh, yeah. I cannot believe that we're not past. I cannot believe in 2023 that we got teenagers and kids still at school saying nigga to their students. Yeah. I can't believe that still fucking exists. I can't believe that we have to explain to people the stuff that you're saying, like the obvious, like, no, this person here is gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Not that I can't. I'm just don't understand.
But it's
why we're here.
It's simple. It's education. Now the new generation of kids are understanding things for what they are. Some are still indoctrinated by Republican parents who tell them, if you don't do this, you're probably going to go to hell and swim in lava or whatever the fuck. But you have to take these children and be like, look, this is the history of the native people of the United States who were slaughtered. This Thanksgiving bullshit, it's not the way you think.
Yeah.
This is the story of Black people. This is the story of Latinos and Puerto Ricans and Mexican immigrants. And you teach them truly what happened. There was a town in Utuado in Puerto Rico that got bombarded when people wanted their independence. We took their leader, Pedro Albizu Campos, and put him in a fucking cell and pumped radiation on him. These things are things that the children of the United States of America, via CRT or whatever the hell you want to call it, because it seems
just
to terrify
call it fucking history.
Just calling accurate history, and you teach them that, and then the future is brighter. But we cannot keep lying to our children.
But see, this is what I don't understand. Like, these people are so toxic. They don't want healthy growth. No. Like even just the not believing in science. When somebody say they don't believe in science, I'd be like, take off all your clothes and go live in a fucking hole. Because everything you use is science. Toothpaste, soap, clothes, anything that you fucking touch is science. So you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. We would all have diphtheria if we didn't fucking really grow. And that's what I'm fucking want to
I've told you this 100 times. If you keep people dumb, then they can be manipulated.
Absolutely.
And that's the bottom line.
You hit it on. It's because it's easier to just tell people. It's classic Dunning-Kruger. I explained it in one of my videos. The less information you have, the more you think you become an expert on the topic. You don't know shit. It's like, dude, you know a little bit and you think you know everything. But when you know more, you think you know less, right? It works in opposite ways. But the vaccine thing is the same thing. They keep people stupid. You got these idiots out there who think they know more about medicine than people who've gone to fucking college for 12 years.
It's so sad. I feel bad for doctors now. It's like, what the fuck did I spend all this time in school and you motherfuckers just gonna tell me that goddamn the internet told you something else? Like, what the fuck?
They become experts on a different fucking topic every month. When it was like Kyle Rittenhouse thing, they all went to law school that week and got I'm like, you motherfuckers got a law degree in a week. I think it was legal defense because, he was a retreat. Yeah. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude.
He killed people. Yeah, it's
idiotic.
Let me ask you a question about your life. Why you're in Denver, but can't you do more good taking this gospel and taking it back to the island?
Yes.
And there must be more
Listen.
people like you there who want change and whatever. Is it possible?
That is a man. He's bringing good questions. That's a good one as well.
He's a good one.
Listen, let me tell. A lot of people have asked me this. They're like, "Oh, why don't you go back to the island? Why don't you run? You can run for governor." And I tell the same fucking answer every time. I'm like, "Listen, I'm not gonna go to the island
with all these Puerto Ricans. Are you crazy?"
That might be part of it. No, but listen, I tell people all the time, I'm not gonna go administer the colony. You know, like you're telling me, let me, I always give the example of the kids with the little conch or the conch or whatever the fuck you call it, the little, where they're in the island and they're all going crazy and they like kill each other. I forget the name of the
Lord of
the Flies, right? Yeah. I'm like, look, I'm not going to go to Lord of the Flies and be like, I'm going to administer the Lord of the Fly Council, you know? No, you need like a form of established government with powers. What you have right now is not viable. You know, the colony, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, as you know it, needs to end. And that's why I even told everybody, my supporters, they were like, "Oh, if the Puerto Rico, the Self-Determination Act passes, will you run?" And I'm like, absolutely.
Nice.
If you guys choose statehood, I will move back to the island, become a congressman for the island, and then I can go to the United States Congress and have a power and have vote. But right now, beggars can't be choosers. If I go to the island and some shit happens and then I go back to Congress and I'm like, "Hey, I need $2 billion for the power grid," they're going to be like, "Fuck you, Puerto Rican. We don't give a shit about you. Go on and eat some mofongo. You don't have power here." You know, that's the problem. I need something that is stable, a stable form of government with powers that I can work on. Or if you become an independent nation, great. We're sovereign. I'm going to go deal with fucking China and Venezuela and strike an oil deal and go to Greenland. But right now, I can't do any of those fucking things because you have me tied up.
Well, how close are you to that?
To independence?
Or what? No, being yes, or whatever it is.
We're not close to anything because right now we had a plan, which was the Puerto Rico Self-Determination Act, which was killed by the fucking Republicans. All of them voted against it. So
and
now
so obvious.
We're back at one. The Puerto Ricans right now, as today, I do not have a plan of self-determination. We are in a stasis environment where we can't do shit.
But it's so fucking obvious. It's all so obvious that every race is oppressed by this one thing. And it's obvious. And white people don't want us to say it, but you motherfuckers are oppressing everybody. Yeah. I'm sorry for saying this. This is what we see. You're oppressing everybody. We have Democrats, but you motherfuckers are oppressing us. Yeah. What pisses me off is you want this great nation. It doesn't seem like they want a great nation. It seems like they want Russia or some fucking Hitler shit. That's what it feels like to me.
But listen.
But if we fucking lived our fucking mistakes and our shit that we went through, we would be the greatest nation in the fucking world.
Absolutely. I think it was one of the people that ran for the presidency last week, Marianne Williamson, I think was her name, and she said this country will never heal until we do something about the crime against black people in the history of the United States.
People of color, period.
And it has never been done. But the problem is that white supremacy has a very nice trick that they pull on making people think that it doesn't exist. They're like, "Oh, well, that happened a long time ago with the passing of the Civil Rights Act."
And Irish people went through it too.
And indentured servitude, and then you got the Irish coming in. Well, we were indentured servants. I'm like, no, you didn't experience chattel slavery, motherfucker.
Yeah, you didn't get your whole families taken from you and sold to other people. There was no escape from slavery. You were paying. There was no paying our way out of it.
You were born and you died in it, and that is something that is entirely different, and that never healed. You had a 500-year head start. You made the best out of it. You made a bunch of fucking money making hot dogs and Walmarts and a bunch of other shit. And now you're telling people, well, that doesn't really matter because if you pick yourself by the bootstraps, you can be great too. I'm like, no, motherfucker. That's not how it works. It's very simple for you to say that from your high throne.
Yeah, but they never had boots. They always had some nice fancy ass shoes.
Yeah, made out of crocodile skin and shit.
There was never no bootstraps they ever fucking pulled. They were making the straps.
It's all complete bullshit.
Okay, well, give us to wrap this up. Give me one thing you want us to take away from your platform. If you could get one thing done you're trying to change minds, I guess, on that thing, or just get the word out.
Lenny wants hope. He's like,
I want some hope.
You said some horrible shit. Now you got to close it with something nice.
You got to give me something.
Are you hopeful?
I'll tell you.
This is exactly what I wanted to. I knew he was going to.
Are you hopeful?
I'll tell you. I'll be honest. Listen, we have to, what do I want to take away from this? Listen, follow people of color. Follow content creators that are Latino. Support people that are minorities. It's important, right? Because
I don't work with minorities, as you can see.
Yeah, because I'm white.
There you go, baby. You identify it.
Yeah.
And I tell people, listen to the people, listen to Puerto Ricans, right? Yeah. Listen to Black people, listen to Mexicans, listen to people who are in it telling you what the problem is. Don't think that you're going to come in like gentrifiers do in my island and say, well, I think you people need this. I'm like, bro, you haven't lived there. Like, I'm telling you what we need. And you're like, no, you need something else. No, we need to start listening to communities and people that are minorities, people of color. They know what's going on. Educate yourself on the topics. Grab a book, War Against All Puerto Ricans by Nelson Dennis. There's a lot of books that tell you the true history of Puerto Rico, and then you can identify with the people. Same thing with Black people, same thing with everything. But we have to start listening, and we have to start reading, and we have to start educating ourselves, That's the best as I can put it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Give us your, this is just TikTok, or you do Instagram as well?
I have a couple of pictures on Instagram, but it's mostly TikTok. It's what I do. It's my handle, Luis Citorio, which is basically my name and a part of my last name, Luis. Luis Citorio 787. It's the old area code for Puerto Rico back in the day when you had to dial that shit first.
Oh my God. You got to teach me how to say the window.
Yeah. Que tenga buen día.
Que tenga buen día.
Yeah. Have a nice day. You got to kill them with the have a nice day.
I love that. It's my favorite part. And I'll be dying. I'll be waiting for him to say it when you're in and you be like, I got the window. I'm like,
That's the part that you really hate.
I love that. It's my favorite part. Because the person you say it to is like, fuck you, I want to have a fucking nice day.
That's probably what it is.
Luis, thank you so much for coming in. That was a blast.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you. Keep doing it.
Exactly what I wanted it to be. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. I love you guys.
Luis, we're gonna put you to work again in a minute.
Luis.
We'll be right back.
Let's get it.
With the Fckry of the Week. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the Fckry of the Week.
Fckry of the Week.
I'm gonna go first. I want to talk about my Fckry of the Week is tradition. So I know it's February, but that's what makes this so ridiculous. Every year for the holidays, Gina family has traditions. Some are fun, I guess, like they do Secret Santa, even though I've said a million times the secret's out. There's no Santa. Plus, Jesus' birthday is in April, so don't get me started. I can't take this. Anywho, they do stuff like baking cookies, grace before big meals, and lottery scratch cards in the stockings. That's fun. So if you scratch and don't win anything for Christmas, thanks, Santa. Okay, whatever. And Gina's favorite, watch the Yule log on TV. That's a tradition. That's right.
Fuck?
A
White people.
fucking televised fireplace. And you think I'm weird because I'll watch The Godfather every time it's on. Okay. Yeah, it's a Christian world and the Jews just have to live in it. Look, I get it. Families are quirky. I looked online and I Googled weird holiday traditions, and here are some buttes. Leaving beer for Santa. One couple didn't have a star for the tree, so they put on the top of the tree an oven mitt. Now they get a weird oven mitt every year, right? They have empty wrapping paper tube fights, giving everyone a potato with Nicolas's Cage face on every one. And to quote the great Leslie Jones, white people. But guess what? My wife's clan is in on it too. And her thing is the chia pet. I guess it's a running joke that the children of my wife's family all the years receive a chia pet as a Christmas gift, and then they try to grow it. Apparently, they have to do it or it turns into a thing. So now it's mid-January and I have a Minions chia pet in a box on my kitchen table, just taking up room until my wife attempts this thing and it takes up more room. There are starving children all over the United States, right? I guess it's a Birdie Mommy weekend craft project that will eventually get done, and when it's accomplished, it gets presented to the family as, I don't know, hilarious? Oh, the Fckry. I've had some family traditions too, like going home for the holidays and eating chicken soup and potato pancakes. I guess we were boring. I should have insisted on sewing a flag or dressing up as footsie pajamas or trying to connect to dead relatives via Ouija board or something as thrilling as growing a chia pet. Whatever. I guess it's better than having to hang a big mouth Billy Mass singing fish plaque on the wall. Take me to the river, toss me in the water. Jesus.
Talking about the fuck was that shit?
Well, you know that
Jesus
fish they put on the
Christ.
wall, you know, that's a holiday gift that people are giving out all those years. Like, what is the matter with these traditions?
See, this is the thing that white people need
Chia
to get.
pets.
No, white people need to get this. I'm not putting that shit in my house. Because that's what black people do. You bring a chia pet, bitch, what the fuck is this shit? Nobody's doing that shit. I would throw it away in the garbage can in front of the... Ain't nobody doing that. You want to exile me from the family? Fuck you.
Listen, I hope they listen, John. I know you're listening. It's all right. We'll make the chia pet.
John, that's some fucking bullshit. That's some fucking bullshit, John. Don't nobody want to do that.
That shit is messy. You ever try to do one of those things?
No,
It's disgusting.
I haven't. I've seen the fucking commercial and gone, who is that sad?
Who the fuck is
It's
that
like,
sad?
especially if it goes cha-cha-cha-chia, go fucking kill yourself, bitch. Oh my God. Okay.
All right, what's yours, Leslie?
Okay, so you know me, I fucking always never do my homework.
And you were busy.
And I was really busy this week. So I have decided to pass my fuckery of the week to Louis.
Fuck yeah, I'm on it.
Yes, and you got to make sure that you end it with the...
I got it. I already thought, I was thinking about this shit from ever since I landed in New York City. I was
Nice.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Listen, this message is quick and it's simple, and it's a 1-minute message to Puerto Ricans who live in the United States and vote Republican. What the fuck are you doing? Like, number one, we already had a goddamn project to decolonize our island so we could have the same rights as everybody else, and your motherfuckers voted for the people that voted 219 against the project, all Republicans, and you're like, you know what? I think it's a good idea. I'm going to vote for it, Megan. What the hell are you doing? It's like somebody telling you bleach is fucking bad for Puerto Ricans. It kills them. And then you go and pour some fucking Clorox and make a mojito out of it. What the fuck are you doing? Bro, don't vote Republican. Puerto Ricans, you need to start voting in favor of you and not against your own fucking demise. You guys need to wisen up. Go follow me, Luisitorio 787. Que tenga buen día!
There it is. That was awesome. Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you for-
That was
You're
so
welcome.
Thank you, Luis, for coming on the show. That was fantastic.
I love you guys.
fucking cool.
That's the end for today. Thank you for listening to The Fckry. Just remember, any photos or links to this episode will be posted at Fckry Podcast on Instagram. That's spelled Fckry Podcast on all platforms. Send us your listener questions, as we said before, to fckrypodcast@gmail.com. Letters and voice memos are welcome. If you want to follow me, I'm at Lenny Marcus NYC on all platforms. If you want to follow Leslie, it's LesDog 4Gs on Instagram, 3Gs on Twitter, and 5Gs on TikTok. Why, Leslie?
Because I'm a motherfucking G, son.
The Fckry with Leslie Jones and Lenny Marcus was created and stars Leslie Jones and Lenny Marcus. The show is produced by Judith Cargbo. And our audio engineer in Los Angeles is Jordan Duffy. Our NYC audio engineer and board operator is Dan Spaventa. Our production coordinator is Abby Aguilar. Music for the show is done by Marina Pais. This is an Earwolf production.
Because the wolf has ears.